We have multiple major updates from a Suns insider revealing the plans that Matt Ishbia and Brian Gregory have in store for Phoenix Suns fans ahead of the offseason with two key roster pieces in Bradley Beal and Kevin Durant. And we have to dive in and explore what this means for the Phoenix Suns in the direction that they are now heading in, and also what it means for the potential with Devin Booker as well. We're going to be getting into all of this and more on this episode of Suns Digest. I am Bruce Veliz, and I want to say shout out to you guys. You guys have been absolutely fantastic. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section, your thoughts on this Suns team. And now, with the head coach being hired in Jordan Ott yesterday, there is going to be a lot of news and a lot of stuff breaking down about this team. So if you want to make sure you stay up to date on everything, make sure to continue to hit that subscribe button, as 65% of you guys who watch these daily videos or multiple videos in the day are not subscribed. And if you want to get the centralized place for Suns news on YouTube, this is the place for you. We'll also be live once again today, 3 p.m. Pacific time for you guys in Phoenix, 6 p.m. Eastern time for me, talking about a bunch of things revolving around this Suns team, going a little bit into the head coach, looking at some of the potential trades that the Suns could do and who would else be traded from some other big names and who could they get, and ultimately exploring some draft prospects as well. So if you're interested in that, come join us in a little while. Definitely be a fun time. Without further ado, let's dive in and let's get into this video. Make sure to grab that snack and let's start discussing it. This is really interesting from John Gambadoro. As you all know, the main man for all the Phoenix Suns news. If it's not Dwayne Rankin, if it's not John Gambadoro, if it's not Gerald Bourguet, we're not listening to them. And John Gambadoro, who's been really intact with this Suns team, obviously throughout the years, and specifically this offseason with the head coaching search, had some stuff revealed revolving around Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal today. And the first part we're going to be discussing is revolving around Kevin Durant, as there's been a lot of talk, especially on here as well, of some Suns fans and myself kind of talking about a Kevin Durant trade. And Gambadoro lets us know to update Suns that have been in any discussions with trading Kevin Durant as of recently. Anything you see about prices coming down are just not true. The focus was hiring a GM, then a head coach, and now that they have a GM and a head coach, there will be discussions with interested teams. And I know there was a report yesterday that came out, or a couple of days ago, talking about how the Rockets are making an aggressive pursuit for Kevin Durant, and that the Phoenix is in aggressive pursuit of trading Kevin Durant to the Rockets to get their picks back. Phoenix was saying that they're going to lower their price and all this stuff, and Gambadoro just absolutely laughed at it, saying this is beyond untrue and it's laughable. The Suns haven't spoken to the Rockets since February. Not once have they been focused on doing a trade involving Kevin Durant there. They've been focused on hiring their GM and coach, and now with those hires done, they can turn their attention now to moving Durant. Shams Charania broke that down yesterday for all of us. We all discussed that. We all know that this Phoenix Suns team unfortunately does have to move Kevin Durant in this kind of instance, and we'll get into a little bit why, but I think we all do know why. It's Bradley Beal, right? Bradley Beal makes $50 million. He's a non-tradable contract on this Suns team. And if we look at their lengthy output as well, he's locked up for 2 more seasons. Durant's on 1. And unfortunately, because Bradley Beal, which we'll get into a little bit, is an untradable contract, they have to trade a guy in Kevin Durant, which sucks. It sucks for Kevin Durant because he wanted to finish his season in Phoenix. It sucks for the fans, including everyone that wants to see Kevin Durant still stay in Phoenix, because he has been good with this team alongside him and Booker. It's not him and Booker's fault. It's the moves after, the Bradley Beal move, the DeAndre Ayton move, that have really screwed over the Phoenix Suns and their ability to kind of rebuild or really get this team back on pace. But not only just that, it just ultimately just stings, because we all know that in 2021 the Suns made the finals. They were at that peak point, and they went and made this move for Durant to get back there, and they haven't made it there since. So ultimately it stinks, because you look at the Kevin Durant trade, and hindsight, big thing, it's a failure for a lot of people to really just categorize that, but I don't categorize it as a failure in my opinion, because it's not Kevin Durant's fault. It's the Phoenix Suns front office fault for mismanaging the assets that they had to put around Devin Booker and Kevin Durant to put them in this contention spot. So that's where I really stand with it. I'm sorry for Kevin Durant that he does have to ultimately get traded and be, a repercussion of the falling out for the Suns to kind of get back into that headspace, because obviously he would have loved to stay here. If the Suns had made the right moves, I'm sure he would have signed that extension either last offseason or this offseason to stay with the Phoenix Suns, and there would be no quarrels, no issues, and the Suns would be in a happy-go-lucky land with Durant and Booker still pushing for a championship, if not already winning an NBA championship. So it's just sad to really say that this time with Kevin Durant is slowly coming to an end, and I just want to wish him the best of luck with the next team that he goes to, and I will be supporting Kevin Durant onto the next team that he goes to, because even though I'm a Suns fan, even though I cover the Celtics and I'm a Celtics fan too, I'm an NBA fan in general, and I just want to see the success of these players and ultimately Kevin Durant to win another championship. So I'm hoping for him the next destination is that best opportunity for him to compete at that mountaintop once again. But let me know your thoughts on the Kevin Durant news as we dive into some more revolving around the other star that we've already kind of talked about as well. And this ultimately makes sense for me, but we're going to be talking about Bradley Beal. And like I mentioned, talking about this Phoenix Suns team being in the salary cap hell, it's basically because of Bradley Beal with his $50 million contract. But not only just that, with him having that no trade clause attached to it, makes it basically a stinging B for the Phoenix Suns, because if they could trade him to Brooklyn or Utah and you just get, filler salary or whatever. But no, they can't, because Bradley Beal's not going to want to go to those places. He's only going to want to go to certain places. So there's no really escape from Bradley Beal. And John Gambadoro was asked about Bradley Beal, and he responded that they do not want Bradley Beal back. He made this known at the beginning of the offseason that Bradley Beal would not be back with the Phoenix Suns when the season had just ended, and he doubled downs on it right here again, saying they do not want him back, but he is untradeable, and if he does not agree to a buyout, that the Suns may be stuck with him. One of the questions they asked candidates when they were doing their coaching cycle was, what would you do with Bradley Beal? They 100% do not want him, and they are looking how to get out of this contract. Now, as we all know, this is kind of self-explanatory, but we knew he wasn't going to be untradeable. So for King Nacho, who wants Bradley Beal gone, shout out King Nacho down below in the comments, always here for all the videos, the Suns are looking to get away with it. I know that you were very probably hyped up with this, news update, but unfortunately, it's not a guarantee for the Phoenix Suns. It truly isn't a guarantee, because there are multiple obstacles to get off of this Bradley Beal contract. There really, really is. You look at, obviously, the first part that John Gambadoro talked about. He is untradeable. No team is willing to take on Bradley Beal. Even if Bradley Beal is willing to want to go to that team and waive his no trade clause, no team is giving any asset for Bradley Beal, or if they are giving any asset, it is not a positive asset that the Phoenix Suns want to take back in a trade to really help put alongside Devin Booker, or even feel a way can be able a way to really get them out of the salary cap hell. So unfortunately for the Phoenix Suns, there's going to be no way for them to be able to trade Bradley Beal. If Brian Gregory was able to pull this off, man, oh man, he could just change the tune about everybody else. But unfortunately, that's not going to be the case. And then the second part is the buyout. We know that this is most likely how Bradley Beal is going to get out of this contract, and for the Phoenix Suns, he might not even agree to that buyout. He might not get the money out on the open market that he's willing to shave off to do so, because the Phoenix Suns can't ultimately buy out his full contract in general either. We all know that, right? They can buy him out, but not at his full salary. So Bradley Beal would have to take back less money in the buyout, and then ultimately, presumably, have to get that money back in the open market. So when looking at Bradley Beal's contract, he's on $53 million this year and $57 million the next season, right? So when you look at this personal buyout, if you were to buy him out for $110 million and stretch and waive it over 5 years, there is a way that the Suns can do it. And my boy John Voita, courtesy of Bright Side of the Sun, and the managing editor over there, and a guest that was on here on Suns Die just a couple weeks ago, shout out to him, he said that the Suns could buy out Beal for up to $97 million and stretch that money over 5 years without exceeding their 15% dead cap limit that they can go over, because the Suns already have some money with dead cap from stretching and waiving Nazir Little and EJ Liddell last season when they couldn't get off those contracts. That would be $19.4 million annually, plus the $3.8 million for Little and Liddell to be stretched and waived. That means the Phoenix Suns would have $23.2 million, basically a sizable level contract, a quality role player level of contract, just sitting there in dead money on their books, just doing nothing while they're out there having to kind of restrain that. That basically means that the Suns go into the season, if you strip down their roster, with just Devin Booker, that they would be making $70 million, and it's just a plus 20, right? It takes away $20. It's going to be a hindrance for the Suns, but this is basically the only way that they can get out of this. But if they are stuck with a guy like Bradley Beal, this is ultimately going to be tough for Phoenix Suns fans. Now, ultimately, I know the fans aren't going to be happy about that, but I do still think that Bradley Beal does have some value out there, maybe not at $50 million, obviously. As we know, he's had some injuries, hasn't been able to stay consistent on both sides of the ball, but he's still a great offensive creator, and I think on a team where he's shielded by great enough wings or defenders, he could be a solid shot creator and scorer for them. And on a contract around $20 to $30 million, that seems key for that. So if Bradley Beal could somehow, in free agency, right, get bought out by the Phoenix Suns at $97 million, like my boy John was talking about here, and he could net the remaining money, which would be around $14 million out on the open market. But let's say he doesn't even get the 97. Maybe he gets 25 on the open market. 2 years, $12.5 million on the open market. That is around $25 million. Bradley Beal could be bought out for $85 million. That could be stretched and waived. I think that's around $16 million. Makes it a little bit easier for the Phoenix Suns, but also still guarantees Bradley Beal still gets a contract out there. Now, with that all being said, we will get to the last part here of all of this is, will they get it done, and which one is more likely with the Phoenix Suns? Ultimately, Durant, I do think, will get traded, like I mentioned earlier, due to the whole constraint with having Bradley Beal on this team and having his no trade clause that basically forces the Suns, even if they do drop below, into the first apron by waiving Cody Martin and Veliz Micic to basically trade Durant. And we saw from Shams Charania yesterday that this is the now focus and goal of the Phoenix Suns. Basically, John Gambardaro said now they're going to start talking to teams, so it does seem like both sides will be working in a breakup, unfortunately, to go out there and give Durant a better option. With Bradley Beal, it's honestly still more a question. I do think that the Durant trade will happen before the Beal wave, and kind of didn't really know which one was going to happen first. It was a little bit of a question mark, but I think with John's kind of analysis here and detailed notes that we can see here, that Durant's going to happen first. Then they're going to get back what they get from Durant, depending on what team it is, evaluate what that can work around Devin Booker, then decide what they're going to do with Bradley Beal, stretch and waive him, keep him on the roster, do whatever, and then look to retool this roster still in free agency. There's going to be a lot of discussions around Bradley Beal, Durant, and such many more stuff to talk about this Suns team. Even guys like Grayson Allen, Royce O'Neal, and all of that jazz. So if you're interested in more Suns content, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Hit the like and subscribe button, and I hope to catch you guys in the stream today at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Phoenix time. Once again, thank you guys so much for tuning in to today's episode. I really do appreciate you all, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a great rest of your day, and go Phoenix Suns.